Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for February 22nd, 2021, with your host, Peacemaker2448, and Rampant Epsilon.
Hi.
We are past the halfway point of Dragonite, which means at some point in the next few weeks, I need to figure out what the fuck we're doing next.
Yep.
Unfortunately, what we can do is, like, plenty. The bad news is I need to figure out what we need to do. Because I'm like, well, there's the one option, but we're waiting on, like, Team Writer and Shop Factory to do something. Which, you know, is fun, considering that they don't talk that much. And I would love them to at least say, hey, we're doing a thing. So that's probably not happening anytime soon, which leaves me with fewer options. I have one, but I need to figure out how I can do it first. But anyway, it is episodes 21 through 24 of Dragonite this week. How'd you feel going into these?
I can tell you this much. It fits, but I kind of wasn't expecting the, I guess you could say, turn that we see happen over these episodes.
What, the heel turn?
If you call it that.
I will say this much: there's more going on than what we've seen so far.
I mean, the reason I say if you call it that is because it almost doesn't feel like it. It feels like this is as close as we're gonna see to one. But yeah.
I'm going to say you are correct.
Yeah.
Spoilers for when we get to talk about it, folks. Ryuga, which is the Japanese name for Onyx in this series, that is not a bad guy suit. Just gonna tell you that right now. It's not a bad guy suit. As much as everything about that suit says otherwise, no. We'll get to why at a later point in the series. But yeah, this is the first, like, batch of episodes that, like, starts turning the series and kind of, weirdly enough, like, stabilizes our cast for a while, since, you know, Siren is sticking around. But we're shaking up that status quo in a few episodes or so, because we need to hit the twist of the series and hard shake up the cast for a little bit. But for now, this is more or less the status quo for at least, I believe, through next week. The week after might change things. But anything else before we hit the recap?
No.
All right, then. We kick off with episode 21, Strike's Ultimatum. So Xaviax is talking to Kit's dad, being like, "Oh, I feel like he's my son too." And I don't know whether to, you know, let him make his own choices or force him to work for me. Aren't you nice? The brothers drop by, and he pretty much berates them for attacking Kit because, you know, he doesn't want Kit vented, because we'll get there. But after all this, Lacey drops by Grace's, and because of the flash drive she got from Michelle Walsh, she ends up downloading all of Maya's data on the writers and all that, faking that she's doing her emails before leaving. Lynn also drops by at this point, and finds out from Trent where Kit and Maya are and heads out to help them. Which takes us to Kit and Maya as they show up at this warehouse place and find out, oh yeah, James is Strike. And he is a grade A asshole who apparently got locked up at some point and got broke out by Xaviax and is on Xaviax's side because, hey, he lets me through mirrors and stuff and I can find out whatever I want. And why the fuck would I go against him? So he offers Kit a deal to return his dad for joining Xaviax. Kit says no. Henshin's the fight. At this point, the brothers show up. James also transforms. So it is 3v1. Kit is in not the best position, especially since they have mirrors set up all around the arena that they're in. And by arena, I mean this one very small room in a warehouse. And they essentially kick Kit's ass for a little bit until he actually manages to get his dad away, and Maya takes him back to the hospital, and we'll catch up with them at the end of the episode. But Lynn shows up at the warehouse, but he's waylaid by a couple of monsters, so he's stuck fighting them for the rest of the episode. But Kit manages to get the two of them, get a lot of them separated, because he forces Strike in Axe. I had to remember which was which. I have to call them one of them by their names here soon. But he sends Strike and Axe through a mirror and breaks the mirror to stop them from coming through. And with Spear down, Kit decides to not hold back this time and vents him with a final vent. So Spear is out and off to the Advent Void. And of course, Axe is pissed about his brother being vented. And James tries to comfort him, but he's just like, nope, can't do this. I have no good emotions. I'm leaving. Lynn shows up, where Kit is just kneeling there, looking at the deck. He asks him what's going on. Kit doesn't even answer him, and just hands him the deck and just leaves. We see Lacey end up delivering the info to Walsh, and she tells Lacey to keep an eye on Maya, which leads to their whole subplot for like the next dozen or so episodes. Oh joy, I hope you're ready for more Lacey, because she's going to be around more. Yeah. But we end the episode with Kit and Maya catching up at the hospital. Kit tells her what happened. Maya leaves, and Kit tries to talk to his dad, and that goes about as well you can expect as Ghost Dad talks to him. But we end the episode proper on the arrival of a new writer. A female writer. This is Case, Kamen Rider Siren. And she proceeds to whip up the asses of a couple monsters. Now, for the record, Femme, much like, well, kind of like Camo, is from a movie. And only really appears in the movie, which is episode final. So she doesn't have a lot of stock footage to rely on. Not a whole lot of, can be contextualized as good stock footage for her. She is also the third main writer of the series, more or less. Guess who got a lot of original fight scenes? So we're relying very heavily on original fight scenes for Femme. Or for Siren. I'll mix that up a lot. If you haven't already noticed, I tend to interchange the names.
Yeah, a lot. Just saying.
Yeah. Also, if you're wondering why Siren looks like a white, retooling of Night in terms of aesthetic, I don't really have an answer for you. She just is. There's no context in Ryuki for why. Also, her contract beast isn't a bat, it's actually a swan. Again, it's just how it is. The only difference really between the two in their default forms is, like, Siren gets a cape by default, whereas Knight has to equip Darkwing in order to get his cape. But anywho, we move on to episode 22, A Writer's Resolve. So Siren takes out the monsters, then proceeds to head out. Also, I don't know why I didn't realize this sooner, but every single fucking writer in the series wears a leather jacket. I don't know why, but that is the uniform of every single writer in the series.
Because, I mean, you gotta look cool.
Apparently. But Kid talks to his dad, gets bad ghost dad advice as usual, because that's how it goes. But Ghost Dad also mentions that he's not going to be around for much longer, which, you know, is going to be starting to send Kit into a spiral. Because unfortunately, Kit is going to be dealing with a lot of shit the next few episodes, and no one really to talk to it about. Also, he is now starting to realize Ghost Dad isn't talking like my dad. What the fuck is going on? But we catch up with Maya as she tells Trent what happened with James. So Trent's now heartbroken that his hero is kind of an asshole. Oh well, he'll get over it. Meanwhile, we catch up with Danny, James, and Xaviax. Danny wants Kit's head, but Xaviax is like, no, I don't want him vented. I want everyone else but him vented. What part of that do you not understand? And Danny's like, fine, whatever. Blech. He kind of blows it off. But I think Xaviax tells him to keep an eye on him. Or does he tell him to outright vent him at this point?
I think at this point he just tells him to vent him.
Okay, I was like, at one of these points, Xaviax is like, just take him out.
Yeah, it's at this point because it was after he was saying about Siren. It was just like vent him.
Because James rightly points out, there's 3 of them. I can't take 3 of them. And I need backup.
Xaviax, the diva that he is, just looks away like, no, do what I said.
Yeah. But we catch up with Lin as he's checking it, looking over all the decks of all of the other riders that have fallen, except Torx. Torx is not in his collection. But that's because Strike vended him. Which kind of creates a plot hole for later about where did Torque's deck go, but meh. But Kit shows up more or less looking for advice, and Lynn has no advice because, look, I was the lone wolf person. I was sent out solo to take care of stuff. I'm not supposed to be a leader at all. I don't know what I'm doing. I literally have nothing else for you. Because, much like Kit, he's got his own issues, only it's not sending him spiraling. But Kit doesn't take this well, but the two kind of rebound because they go off to find a monster. As they get separated, because Kit rides ahead, and Lynn just decides to take it easy catching up to him. But when Kit gets there, Axe is there, thrashes him for a while because, you know, I'm going to vent you for my brother, until Siren shows up and proceeds to whip Axe's ass and sends him packing, only to then attack Kit. And of course, Cass thinks that, oh, you're a traitor. You don't deserve that armor. And she starts talking about, like, for Ventara and stuff, and Kit's confused because it's like, who told you that? Only for Lynn to finally arrive, and this is when we finally see who Siren really is, and that is Cass, the Ventaran siren. This is not an Earth version. Nope, this is proper Ventaran siren. And also, she's Lin's girlfriend. By the way, there is no twist here. She is a proper good guy. Which is why Xaviax is incredibly concerned now, because, oh, I thought I murdered you. Well, shit. I should have checked for a body. So that's halfway through episodes. How'd you feel about the first half?
So basically what I'm hearing is Xaviax did the same thing Torque did.
Yes. Very often.
Yeah.
But we'll get into the backstory a little bit. But yeah, I kind of like that Femme is kind of being introduced in these episodes, these end of episode stingers, before we get a full explanation of who she is and why she's here. The only thing we don't really get told is where the fuck has she been this entire time? But considering where we go later in the series, I'm like, oh, you were elsewhere in the world dealing with the exact problems we're dealing with here.
I mean, I'm fine with that. As far as like the reveal and everything. My thing is it feels like we've designed this essential revolving door where we've got like a set amount that we can go up to rider-wise, and we keep kind of hitting that.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at for the first part of the series. Is there's only so many riders we can bring in, and we have to like kick a few out because like you have to be gone. That definitely does change once we hit the second half. Or the second part of the series, really.
Right. Which, I mean, I'm fine with that. I think my bigger thing is more what comes out of the aftermath, which is the later half of this. And it's like... Yeah, that kind of feels like that. The show justifies it, I'll give it that. But it also kind of feels like slightly out of character.
Yeah, we'll get to it. But shall we get to it?
Yes.
All right, so let's pick up with episode 23, Kamen Rider Siren. So Axe now drops by to tell Xaviax, yo, Siren showed up. We have a problem. And he's like, fuck. I thought I murdered her. Apparently I didn't. That sucks. Because, as he puts it, not only is she just as good as Lin is, she's probably better than him. Which I do love that are just like, no, she's on par. She's like one of the best fighters they have. So it's not just a case of, no, the girl rider isn't just here to be the token girl rider. No, she can handle her own. That's why I say she's the third rider of the series, because for all intents and purposes, she is the third rider of the series. The only thing is, she doesn't get an upgrade because, you know, she's only in a movie, and we only have like 3 survive cards, and none of those 3 are yours. Unfortunately. Which is a shame. But at this point, Lin and Cass catch up, and this is when we find out that Cass was the one that got Lin out of his like stasis pod thing before he got vented with everyone else. And Cass stayed behind, but barely managed to escape, and I guess has been working her way to here through whatever Xaviax has put between her and this exact place on Earth. But she's got issues with Kit, and I assume part of those issues are the same issues we had with Lin had with him at the start of the series, considering oh, right. Dragon Knight betrayed everyone and kind of got everyone vented.
Yeah.
She doesn't look kindly on the person currently wielding that armor. It has his face. So we're kind of back at the beginning of the series, except Kit is now dealing with someone else just not liking him. Because of not him, but of other stuff. And much like Lynn, Cass wants to fight him and, whoops his ass because, she doesn't think he's worthy. And Lynn tries to vouch for him, but he's essentially stuck between person I trust and person who is my girlfriend. And unfortunately, he keeps siding with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I remind you folks, this is not the twist. Cass is a good person. This is just one of those, everyone kind of is fucking up. And Kit, unfortunately, is on the bad end of it all. But yeah, Kit and Cass spar. Cass wins. Kit now feels down on himself because, well, I was Lynn's partner and was, fighting just as good. But now he has a better partner now. I'm more or less the third wheel in this situation. I don't know if I should be here anymore. So he just kind of leaves. We catch up with Lacey. She's dropping by Grace's bookstore because, she apologizes for everything, but she also wants a job there. But Maya and Trent are just like, we don't need a third person working here. Well, fourth person besides Grace herself, who hasn't showed up in several dozen episodes. So, but Lacey just storms. I was just like, meh. But at this point, we catch up with Walsh and find out that she's working for some nondescript government agency and wants to bring in Kit for questioning. Spoilers, they are the not MIB. They are the No Man. Which is like a legally distinct name from the Men in Black. Because they are essentially the Men in Black. The only difference is they don't have fancy guns or a thing that will make you forget stuff. So they're worse. And they suck. But also, Walsh has orders to bring in Kit by any means necessary, which we'll get to next week.
Yeah, because, yeah.
Yeah, we don't get to touch it this week. Anyway, we catch up with Kit as he's riding around, trying to process everything that's going on. It's not getting better. It's only going to get worse. Lynn and Cass, we catch up with them. They're catching up some more. Cass pretty much tries to tell Lynn to, look, we got shit to take care of. Zavax is close to getting everybody on Earth. We need to whip his ass now. We need a plan. We're running out of time. But we catch up with James and Danny. James tries to talk Danny around. Danny hears none of it. The two of them then fight. James whips his ass, but doesn't vent him because he wants him to, come around and work with them because, need the extra set of hands. Although I don't remember if it was this episode or the next episode that they mention. What is his name? I know his Japanese name is Emperor. But it's more or less our last rider. Because Lynn's like, I have not seen him, which is probably for the best because he's better than both of us. I think it might have been next episode. Do you remember?
Right offhand, I don't.
Okay. At some point, we get a name drop for our last rider, but he won't be showing up for a little bit.
It might be next episode, but I can't
Probably.
swear to that.
Yeah, probably, because I think they say that before they have to head off to fight some monsters. Anyway, we end the episode with Kit, still reeling from everything that's going on. And then, as he walks to a mirror, he looks into it with his deck out and sees a black version of his suit. And it attacks him. And this black suit is Kamen Rider Onyx, which, by the way, if you've been watching the openings and not skipping them like we do, you will have seen every single rider because they're all in the opening with their names.
Actually, I've not been skipping the openings.
Yeah.
Because of the weird problem with Google Drive and not liking me skipping around.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all the riders are actually in the opening with their stock photos. The opening is bad, by the way. I've listened to the Japanese opening for Dragonite, and I'm like, this is a better song. I wish this version of it had that dubbed over the English opening, because the English opening is just meh. But that takes us to episode 24, Dark Temptation. So we follow Kit being beaten up by Onyx repeatedly, and I believe this is original fight footage. This isn't from episode final, because, again, to point it out once more, Onyx, aka Ryuga, is from episode final. He's only from this one movie. So his stock footage is very minimal. Like, incredibly so, because most of his footage involves fighting other riders. Specifically, Knight, Femme, and Oja, which is Wing Knight, Siren, and Strike. So you can imagine, how hard it would be to utilize that footage in context to the series at the current moment.
Fair.
So Onyx whips his ass, knocks him out, then goes for the kill. Like, just straight up murder him, not vent him. Only for Kit to wake up and wonder, what the fuck did I just see? But at this point, Wall shows up, calls him Dragon Knight, wants questions about this rider stuff. Kit blows her off and leaves because what the fuck? Which makes Walsh go, well, I guess I need to kidnap this child. I'm going to tell you right now, folks, Walsh is technically a good guy. Walsh is not secretly working for Xaviax and going and trying to cause problems. No, she's technically supposed to be a good guy. Walsh sucks as well. Incredibly so.
Like, it would probably be better if to find out that, she was being manipulated by Xaviax.
Yeah, for as much as the problem she is, yeah, but nope. Anyway, we catch up with James now. He's talking to Xaviax. He pretty much is just like, oh, you didn't van Danny? Why? It's just like, we need his help. And he's like, fine, but he's your problem now. Now, go do something productive. As he stands in his pod. But we catch up with Danny as he's riding off to go find Kit. And then Cass and Lynn reminisce about fighting monsters. And this scene, this entire, them fighting a bunch of monsters, I think it's Torque, Strike, Femme, and Wing Knight. And I think Dragon Knight's also in there. That's actually all from the cold opening of episode final. Which is really funny because where they cut off with, Cass coming in through the ceiling and then running towards Strike, that's actually when they start fighting.
Yeah.
So they kind of cut it when it would, not make sense for what this is supposed to be. Because to talk about it a little bit for episode final, Fem actually wants to kill Oja because Oja murdered her sister. And Fem wants to wish her sister back and has her in cold storage. Or in like suspended animation in like a cold storage facility in order to preserve her body for when she wishes her back. It's a bit screwed up. Anyway, wrote the movie for reference. But yeah, she wants to murder Oja for the entire movie. And actually does murder him because she breaks his neck and that would end up killing Oja. But she is then murdered by Ryuga. And by murdered, I mean he deals the killing blow and then she walks around for a little bit and then kills over in a bush and then everyone doesn't notice there's a dead body on the side of the road. Or on the side of the sidewalk that they all walk by. Again, Inoue wrote this movie. It's a bit garbage. Siren gets treated far better in this series. Like, incredibly better. Just to put it out there.
I feel like that's probably fair.
Yeah. That is one of but many reasons why I don't like Ryuki. And it's almost like the series fixes all my problems with Ryuki. But anyway, Lynn and Cass talk about how it was easier back on their planet because all the riders were on the same side. They didn't have to fight each other. But now they kind of have to fight each other because of, these other Earth versions of them are working for Xaviax. But we then catch up with Lacey as she drops by Grace's to do research on books in order to try to make it look like she's, is qualified for a job at a bookstore. Which, I mean, okay. I think reading a pop-up book is not going to help your chances, Lacey.
I mean, to be fair, we all know that she's not qualified.
Incredibly so. But at this point, Kip drops by about all the wall stuff. Maya checks her computer, finds out, oh shit, my data got copied like 3 days ago, which apparently it's been 3 days over the course of these 4 episodes. Which I also love that there should be an exact timestamp for when her data got stolen. And none of them go, wait a minute. Who was on my laptop 3 days ago? and Trent doesn't realize, wait a minute, that's exactly when Lacey was here checking her Lacey? What did you do? Oh well.
I feel like that will never be mentioned either.
I think it does later. I'm just surprised it's not mentioned now, considering they have a time code. And it's just like, wait a minute. By this point, some monsters are out and about. Kid has to go fight them. But Lynn and Case actually make them to them first, manage to take them all out with minimal trouble. But by the time Kit shows up, he sees them fighting, sees them win. He's just like, oh, you guys don't need me. I guess I'm just kind of the third wheel in this little relationship, so I guess I just leave. So that's when he heads to the hospital and finds Xaviax in his human form, like hovering his hand over his dad, and he's just like, oh, hey Kit, how you doing? Yes, I'm Xaviax. I was these other people, but I'm Xaviax. And Kit is like 5 seconds away from transforming and fighting this guy, but he's like, no, wait, here's the deal first. So Xaviax heals Kit's dad, gets him back conscious for a little bit. So Kit has a chance to talk to his dad, and Kit, being the smarter person in the room, is like, is this a trick? You gonna play me somehow since you played everyone else? And Xaviax's like, no, this isn't a trick because it doesn't have to be. and then just walks out the room and lets them talk. Which, damn. I love how Xaviex is now pulling out his trump card of just like, look, I've had your dad like this for a while. I don't need to trick you. Because why would I? I have your dad hostage, and I'm the only one who can bring him back. So you either work for me or lose your dad. Your choice. But Kit tries to get some advice from his dad, but I feel deliberately his dad passes back out before he can even like give his son advice on the whole like 1 versus 100 lives situation.
Yeah.
And so Xaviex will waltz back in and just is like, that's the deal, Kit. Your dad for Lynn's head. So ponder it. And then leaves, and now Kit's left going, I don't know what to do. Which, if you see the episode preview entirely shows Kit whipping everybody's ass. So, things gonna be interesting. But unfortunately, we leave things here for this week. So how'd you feel about our second half? Yeah, a very hard cliffhanger. Especially if you watch the preview of just like, oh, what the fuck, Kit?
Yeah, because I kind of have gotten in the habit of watching the preview for the last episode in the batch. And yeah.
Look, we gotta get that episode final footage in here somehow. But yeah, this is the big choice for Kit. He's now in position of every other writer before him that worked for Xaviex of, that's the deal. Are you going to take it? And I will say this, we're not in time for the twist. We haven't technically even introduced the survive forms yet, which I think I've said Cass has their cards at the moment. And she hasn't given them to them yet, so you can probably see where this is going.
Yeah.
Because I've spoiled a little too much. Like I tend to do.
Oops.
Yeah. But yeah, any further thoughts on these?
No, I mean, it was a good batch. Again.
Yeah. I continue to be happy to finally be watching a good writer series, as Saber continues to disappoint me at every turn.
This surprises you?
No.
There was a reason why I did not go into Saber with super high hopes.
Right.
But I went in thinking maybe they learned.
Mm-hmm.
And then got immediately disappointed.
I'm just surprised because we got Primitive Dragon this week, which is Toma's like mid-season upgrade, and also a berserk form that is possessing him, I think, when it does that. I think. I'm not entirely sure. Because they gave very little context for the thing that gave birth to Primitive Dragon in this form itself, outside of, this is a really cool fight scene scored by some stock-ass rock music. Like, legitimately stock music. Someone found the original track. But like everything else about the episode, I'm just like, oh god damn it, we're just pulling this out even longer, and I just don't care because we didn't even get really cool character stuff this week like we got for last couple weeks. We're just continuing to pull out this mystery for weeks on end, and I just want the show to move on, and it will not move on, which makes me happy that Dragon Knight doesn't really fuck around too much. We got plot points to hit. We've got dates to meet. We've got a limited amount of footage and only so much budget. Our string and ball of cotton can only go so far. Especially when I've noticed several times that the suits are actually damaged. Like, I forget which episode it is, but one of the episodes, I noticed that the suit was damaged. Like, enough. And I was just like, oh, you haven't even had the chance to repair some of these suits, really. Well, then. But, anywho, folks, tomorrow, I'll probably be doing Splatoon, or I'll be doing some Splatoon 2 for pre-show before we switch over to doing more part-time hunting and all that for Master Chief Collection. Thursday, we pick up where we left off on Xenoblade Chronicles. We might get to the Area 6 or the Colony 6 boss fight. I'm not sure. I don't know how much is between us and Colony 6 boss fight, really. So we might get hit another nice major milestone. I feel like we're going to be with Xenoblade Chronicles for a while.
Very fair.
Yeah.
Very fair.
Friday will be more Halo. Saturday will be a thing.
A thing of things. I don't.
Yeah. And Sunday is more us talking Dragonite. So if you like what you've seen, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chipping away at that affiliate goal. @TJSoon on Twitter gets you updates when we go live. Next mention point, Discord and chat. Gets a Discord link. Drop by, say hi. We'll see you tomorrow, folks.